God himself has put himself under obligation to fulfill this covenant to Abraham. Abraham definitely needs to be faithful, but it's actually God's duty to make sure the covenant is granted to Abraham and his posterity. And if you look at this in the second paragraph here of the title page, there's this interesting phrase that I've wondered about for some time. It says that they may know the covenants of the Lord, that they are not cast off forever. Well, it's kind of interesting. Why is this going to the Lamanites and eventually to the Jews and the Gentiles? But why is there this phrase that they're not cast off forever? It's because God is under obligation to make the covenant available to the children of Abraham, and that includes the Lamanites.
It's interesting that these words coming to us, that he's trying to help us know that we are not cast off forever. Coming from Moroni, those words mean a lot more than coming from any other prophet, possibly in the history of the world, because this guy has watched his whole nation implode and be destroyed. He's watched his family be killed. He's lost everything that we would hold near and dear as far as our culture and our society and our government. And he's been wandering for somewhere between 20 to 36 years, somewhere in that time frame. If anyone could feel cast off, forsaken, forgotten, left alone, it's Moroni. And yet, that's one of the purposes for this book that he puts on the title page. You've got to know that God keeps his covenants. He's not going to forget you, even if you feel all alone for a very long period of time. That's just sweet to me.
Yeah, God's faithful. And you should think to yourself, if you feel cast off, if you feel like you're out of God's presence, the Book of Mormon is a witness that you can be brought back in, that God will be faithful to his covenants, that he wants you at the table.
Now, if you look carefully at all of the reasons why Moroni gives you that we have the Book of Mormon, he starts with, to show unto the remnant of the house of Israel what great things the Lord hath done for their fathers. So he wants us remembering how kind he's been to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, all down through time. Remember that you're not cast off forever, and also to the convincing of the Jew and the Gentile that Jesus is the Christ, the eternal God, and that he manifests himself unto all nations. Now, we generally stop there, but for me, one of the most important purposes for why the Book of Mormon means so much to me, the bottom line is literally the bottom line, that ye may be found spotless at the judgment seat of Christ. For me, that's the power of this book, as all of these purposes help me in my mind and in my heart get aligned with God. But as that happens, Jesus is perfecting us. He's working with us. He's polishing us, so that someday when we stand before his judgment seat, through his merits, his mercy, and his grace alone, we have the capacity to stand there spotless.